Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to protect your API with API key. This will allow you to protect your application from an authorized user. So either you are building a multi-tenancy application or you just want to protect it from an authorized user. Sit back and I promise you, you have come to the right channel. So let's dive into coding. So I'll be using an extension record that was created, and then we'll see how this is, how we are going to protect it, and how the current status of this application. Now let's go and test this application on Postman, right? So this is the record. The endpoint, I have an endpoint get all record. So by the time if I click on send record right now, so I have the response here. So it is not being protected. And the same thing will happen if we deploy it to a public URL. But what we want to do now is to protect it from an authorized user. Only the authorized user will be able to access the endpoint with an API key. So let's see I have a list of API keys that have bounded it into what we have. I have some 8 API keys here, right? Which is the first I have some arrays of API keys here. So API key, that's stopping it from running. Go to the Solution Explorer. So right click on the Solution Explorer, App Settings, select JSON class, and then create a new folder. Give that folder a name, right? Give it a name, middleware. In my own case, I name it middleware. Inside this, on this middleware folder, right click on it, click Add, then select a class. Then I will give it my app settings class alt middleware. Middleware. Right. So this is the name of my class. Then open this class. Then create a constructor. Set a arrow. Now we have our constructor. Now create another method. The method that will be invoked when you launch your application. Public async task. Name it invoke. Then pass HTTP context into it, and then let's bring in our dependency, private read only, request delegates, just give it next. So let's import the namespace. Right click by pressing Ctrl period. Alright, so our request delegate is present inside microsoft.esp.http. Then the next thing here is to bring in our app setting class. So let's see what we have inside this app setting class. Inside this app setting, I have a key called API. I have an object called API key, which is a list of strings, and and it's being binded to my app setting.json section, right? So this is the API key, and these are the arrays of API key that I have. This is one, this is another one, this is another one. So let's go back to our auth middleware class. So let's inject it into our constructor. Inject your request delegate first. So for it to be able to get the value from our app settings, so we pass it to I options. I options. So having done that, so the next thing is to let's have a constant variable for our API key, private read only. It's going to be a string, then API key. So from our request header, this is what our application will be looking for, this key. So X API key, right? So having done that, so let's try to grab the key from our header, right? So it's going to be, let's check it first. If context, context dot request dot header dot try get value, then you pass a constant key there, constant variable which is API key, and then alpha. So that is kind of available to hold the value. I will call it extracted API key. So this is join and exception. Okay. Okay, let's bring in extension for our options. Then this will be dot value. All right, having done that, so let's take a look at this once again. Get right value. So look, when I override, this contain an element with the specific key. Otherwise, it's possible to be true if it is contain it. So what I'm going to do is if it is not, then if git guy is not present, because this is what we're looking for, we'll be looking for a value for this key, right? If this key is not present, then throw it back. So the value we are looking for is this key, and then the value will be extracted into this extracted API key variable. Then if it is not there, then so we want to return something back to the user, then context.response, beg your pardon, dot response dot headers dot status code, the status code equals to right enter HTTP status code that's forbidding. That forbidding or unauthorized depends on the status code you want to return back to the user. Then await context dot response dot write async. So what are we passing? So let's pass invalid API key. This invalid API key, then just return. Right. So another check we'll be doing here is after we have queried our API key value. So what we're going to do here is let's do for access API key equals to our app settings dot API key dot contains. So we are going to pass the extracted value, extracted API key, contain extracted API key, right? So if it does, let's check. So if this guy, now in this case, it's going to be true or false, right? If it contains the API key, it's going to be true, and if it does not contain the API key, it's going to be false. So in this case, in the situation whereby it does not contain it, then we want to return another response. So let me grab this. It's going to be the same thing. Grab this. If that key that user provided is not found in our record, then return invalid API key, right? So, however, if it contains it, so what we're going to do now is to allow it to proceed to the controller. So it's going to be await our request delegate, then you pass the HTTP context, pass the context into it. So to allow it to proceed to the controller. So having done that, you see, with just few lines of code, so you'll be able to protect your API. To complete this, and then when then we test. So the next thing is to go and register this from our program files as a middleware. So let's go to program file, then just come to after this app, right? App variable, just do app dot add middleware. Beg your pardon, use middleware, then you pass the your auth class into it. All right, we are done. So let's launch our application. Let's test it. So it's running. Yeah, our app is running now, and we got invalid API key as response, right? So the reason why our Swagger is not displayed is because of the way we place the middleware, where we register the middleware. So let's quickly correct that now so that our Swagger will come up. Then, so let me stop it from running. So what I will do here is to take out this guy, then put it after the swagger is off, right? This is the line of code that is making the swagger to come up. So it's because we place it above it. That's why our swagger is not coming up. So let's run the app again and see what will be the outcome. Yeah, we have our swagger up now. So let's go to Postman to test this guy to see how it works. So that in the end, we same endpoint. Then what I'll do is to click on it. So now our API is now protected and secure. So it's being protected from an authorized user. See, the response we got is 403 forbidden and then invalid API key. So let's grab any of the API key and then use it to call the endpoint, right? So I'll go to the header, then pass the key. The key is, don't forget, let's take a look at it again. Let's check on our code. So this is the key. This is the key. The key is SAPI key, right? So let's go to Postman. So let's input the key XAPI key. Oh, that's the value XAPI key. This is the key. Then let's go and grab any of the value. So the value is here. I'm setting. So these are the keys that we currently have. Go to this and then copy, copy it, and then let's go back to our Postman. Put the value. So we have the value. Then click on send button. So we are still getting unauthorized. Oh, okay. I did not enable this. Still seeing it as the API key is not present. Then let's click on this again. Yeah, we have a record. Right. So let's do something now. Right. So what I will do now is to go to our auth middleware. Right. I'll put a breakpoint here. Right. So now let's go and try it with an invalid API key. Right. So let's change this from 0 to 1. From 0 to 1. Then click on send. So here is our request. Then step over, step over. So because something is present here, so it passed this stage. Then let's check. So now let's check the list of our API key. If it's present, now the response here is false. And then what will happen? Let's see. If it's false, that is, if it's false, just throw the user back and send in this message invalid API key. Now let's return it back to 0, which is the correct API key. I'll take out this one, then put 0 that was there before, right? 0, and then I'll hit on send request button again. So let's step over. This must be true. Yeah, it's true now. So then we proceed to now proceed to the controller, right? So that's how we can protect your application using API key. So another thing I want us to do here is Let's properly format it to the JSON response if the API key is invalid or whatever. So let me just take out this 0 again so that I'll see what I'm about to show us how it's. So look at it. This is not being properly formatted as a JSON response. Now let's quickly do that. So what I'll do here is so let's change this response to this. Now look at it. I just pass in this error object and then this is the value. Let's do the same thing here. Let's do the same thing here. Right. So reload the application. So having done that, so let's test it and see what will be the response. Right. Then continue. Yeah. So this is now being formatted properly as a JSON response. So guys, this is how you can protect your API key, and I believe that you'll give it a try. Then if you have any challenge, just drop it for me in the comment section, or you have any or a better option to implement it. Just let me know. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye.